Thursday's first video for you was I was busy watching PM Abiy's appearance at Ethiopian House of People's Representatives. There he responded to questions. And luckily this time the session was broadcast with English subtitles as well. So I watched the entire session with questions and PM Abiy's answers. That is why this video is a bit late. We'll have a detailed look at what PM Abiy said. Which types of questions were asked by members of parliament? What did PM Abiy say about Shene, about Valaga, about recent killings, about conflicts in Ethiopia? Second news story is from Oromo Liberation Army shared videos and pictures a few hours ago of newly recruited fighters. Imana Gotota is the name of this new batch which has completed its trainings. Thirdly, an activist from Amhara region who was arrested a few days ago has been released. Fourthly, EU's Commissioner Janez Lenarcic travelled to Ethiopia a few days ago. He visited Mekelle too. He held a press briefing in Addis Ababa. Then he went back. And a few hours ago, once again, he spoke about the things which Ethiopian government should do. We know that the Ethiopian government is in talks with EU for resumption of EU's financial aid for Ethiopian government. Now, once again, Janez Lenarcic in a video in a press briefing a few hours ago mentioned a few points which Ethiopian government should work on. And lastly, was very important news from Tigray. A Tigray activist 2 days ago shared some pictures. And he said that substandard aid is being delivered to Tigray. Substandard grain, wheat grain is being sent to Tigray. He shared pictures, but even a pro-Tigray activist, Tigray officials, they criticized him that pictures were fake, edited pictures. And today he shared a video showing that substandard aid is being delivered to Tigray. Who is responsible? We have this clip for you. Before that, we'll have a detailed look at PM Abiy's appearance today at Ethiopian House of People's Representatives. We are waiting for this session because tensions have been rising. Pressure is mounting on PM Abiy's government because in Western Oromia, civilian killings are on the rise. We have seen 2 massacres in the past few days. First one was committed on the 18th of June in Gimbi, in which more than 300 were killed. And second one was committed on the 4th of July, just 3 days ago, in Kalam Valaga. Again, hundreds killed, some say around 300, some say more than 100. But most say that more than 100 were killed in Kalam Valaga. So pressure is there upon PM Abiy. Government, international media is covering these massacres. What did he say in the parliament today? Which types of questions were asked? Were there any tough questions asked? Yes, at least 2 members of parliament asked some tough questions, especially from the Amhara region. Muluken Asefa is a member of parliament from the Amhara region. I think he's from Nama Party, National Movement of Amharas. He and 2 other MPs criticized the government, and Muluken Asefa and some other MPs asked questions about what's happening in Amhara region and in Valaga. They said, firstly, people are dying, civilian killings are on the rise, demonstrations are being stormed, being attacked, demonstrators are injured in government attacks. Thirdly, they criticized OLA, that OLA is in alliance with government, that government officials, they back Oromo Liberation Army, that government is failing to protect civilians. Member of Parliament questioned mega projects as well, which PM Abiy shares in his tweets, and he said these mega projects are a symbol of prosperity and progress in Ethiopia. A member of Parliament asked a question that if people are dying, should these mega projects be priority for the government? What did PM Abiy say? Firstly, it seems PM Abiy came with his own prepared material. I mean, he did not respond to questions one by one. Members of Parliament asked questions for around 40 to 50 minutes. Then PM Abiy started speaking, and he spoke for more than 1 hour. He did not specifically responded to questions one by one. So he came with his own presentation. He addressed a few questions and he did not address several questions. So it seemed that he just wanted to share which he had prepared to share. He did not respond to all questions. Now, what did he say? Firstly, he defended law and order situation in Ethiopia. That he said civilians are dying in developed countries too. More civilians are dying in the US. And armed groups are carrying out attacks across the world. Terrorism is a global phenomenon. He mentioned Boko Haram in Nigeria, Al-Shabaab in Somalia, and other groups like Houthis in Yemen, that they are attacking, killing civilians. So terrorism is a global phenomenon, and Shine is a terrorist group. So what is happening in Ethiopia is not something that is unique. All countries are fighting this global phenomenon of terrorism. Secondly, he defended his security forces, which he always does. He did not acknowledge that his forces, his government officials have ties with OLA Shine. He said government forces are working in very difficult circumstances. They are sacrificing. In Dirashe, he said 80 government officials, security officials were killed. In Valaga, there is difficult on the ground situation, muddy area. But despite all these restrictions, security officials, they try their best to discharge their duties, and several are laying down their lives, but no one is acknowledging the sacrifices. Thirdly, he talked about OLA in detail. He called OLA Shine. He said, OLA's only objective is to destroy Ethiopia. It is a terrorist outfit, and it wants to destroy Ethiopia by carrying out attacks and by creating ethnic divisions. So it should be treated as a terrorist group. Very important point, viewers. And he talked about civilian killings in general. He did not use the word Amhara, that Amharas have been killed, Amharas are being targeted. He defended government crackdown on demonstrations. He said peaceful demonstration means demonstration should be carried out in a particular place. So if demonstration is not being carried out in a particular place with the approval of the authorities, it means that it could be a risk. and demonstrators could be in danger as well. Traitors, agents of foreign forces could become part of the protest to create law and order situation. So he defended government action on demonstrations, which we saw in the Amhara region when university students were attacked by security forces and several of them arrested, still in prison. And he lectured in detail about Ethiopian cultural, social and historical assets. He said Ethiopia is one of the unique countries in the world. It has its own alphabets. Only 18 countries had their own alphabets. Ethiopia gave birth to civilizations. He mentioned Aksum, he mentioned Lalibela, he mentioned Ethiopian values and traditions like respect for elders. And he mentioned Ethiopian role in Africa, that Ethiopia is a leading country in Africa, that Nelson Mandela studied here, and that when Tanzania gained independence and from Mozambique, some Portuguese forces threatened Tanzania. Ethiopia sent its air force to Tanzania, which defended Tanzania. So Ethiopia has been leading Africa. That is how Ethiopians should see Ethiopia. That Ethiopia is a leader in Africa and one of the leaders in the world. But Ethiopians and outside world highlight negative news from Ethiopia. They don't share positive things like green legacy project, like increased wheat production in Ethiopia. These are not being given coverage by international media. Again, he accused foreign forces, that foreign forces want to destabilize Ethiopia and they have their agents in Ethiopia. Proxies are working in Ethiopia, and proxies are in media as well. Proxies want to create conflicts between Oromos and Amharas, between within Amhara ethnic group, within Oromo ethnic group, between Afars and Somalis, between Sidamas and Oromos. So this agenda is being launched by foreign forces in collaboration with local agents. So that is what he said, main points I covered. As I said earlier, he defended his security forces. According to him, what is happening in Valaga, it's not something extraordinary. People are dying in larger number in other countries. He did not confess, he did not admit that Shene has ties with government forces, or that government forces are involved in attacks on civilians in Valaga. Overall, no major announcement in PM Abiy's talk today. He said what he has been saying. So it won't make a difference even if, God forbid, there is another massacre in Valaga. He believes that direction of the government is right, that Ethiopia is moving in the right direction towards peace and prosperity. International media and their international anti-Ethiopia forces and their agents in Ethiopia are only highlighting negative side of Ethiopia. Otherwise, Ethiopia is going fine. That is what PM Abiy said in today's speech at the parliament. Second news story is from Oromia region. Oromo Liberation Army is continuing its recruitments despite new operation in Valaga. In Western Oromia, OLA is continuing its recruitment activities there. We know that more than a dozen ENDF divisions are deployed to Western Oromia, and Oromia regional forces are deployed to new operation against OLA is underway. Ethiopian PM Abiy last week announced to wipe out Oromo Liberation Army. Despite all these claims, deployments and announcements, OLA is continuing its recruitments. OLA has shared a clip from Western Oromia, Western Front. Here a new batch of recruits completed training. This new batch is named Imana Gotota. Dozens of new OLA fighters can be seen in the clip who have completed their training. Watch this clip, then next news story. Thirdly, viewers, an Ethiopian activist who was arrested a few weeks ago, more than a month ago, has been released. Her name is Tina Belay. She was arrested, I think, in June, at the start of June, and today she was released from prison. You can see a picture on your screen. Tina Belay can be seen. She is out of prison now. Fourthly, viewers, Janez Lenarcic, EU's commissioner, visited Ethiopia a few days ago. He travelled to Mekelle too. And after his visit, he urged Ethiopian government to do more. And a few hours ago, in a press briefing, he mentioned some points which Ethiopian government should work on. Once again, he said that the government should increase fuel supplies to Tigray. Secondly, telecom should be restored. Thirdly, banking service should be restored. He said people have monies with Ethiopian banks, people of Tigray, but they don't have access to their deposited money because there is no banking in Tigray, and people are dying. They are hungry. They have money to buy food. The money is with a bank, but people have no access to withdraw money. So once again, he urged Ethiopian government to do more. Take a listen to what he said.
Much of the blockade still remains. There is a need to lift restrictions, especially on the provision of fuel, on cash transactions, and so on. As for essential services, with this we mean electricity, with this we mean telecommunications and internet, with this we mean banking system. And I explained why it is important to restore the functioning of the banking system. Most people have sizable savings and they cannot access them, and they are hungry.
Lastly, viewers, a new story about aid, quality of aid being delivered to Tigray. While we say that aid supplies are increasing, that number of trucks entering Tigray is increasing, but what about the quality of aid? Is Tigray, are the people of Tigray receiving quality food or substandard material? Substandard food is being delivered to Tigray. A Tigray activist 2 days ago shared some pictures, and he said that substandard wheat grain was being supplied to Tigray. He shared pictures and he was criticized by pro-Tigray activists as well, that he was sharing false information, that picture was fake, it was edited. And today he shared a video showing that grain supplied to Tigray is substandard. Either it is partially crushed or there is soil mixed with this grain. Now, this issue of substandard food aid being delivered to Tigray should be taken up by Tigray government. Why is that Tigray activists are speaking, who are then criticized by Tigray government too? Tigray government officials accuse these activists that they are on the payroll of Ethiopian federal government, that they are against the interests of Tigray. They are showing the true picture, what is happening in Tigray. They are pro-Tigray. They've been fighting for Tigray. They fought in the battlefield as well, in the battleground as well, when Tigray was defending its territory last year. But now when they point out that something bad is happening, that there is bad governance, that Tigray government officials are involved in corrupt practices, they are labeled as pro-Ethiopian government, as anti-Tigray. They are sharing things with evidence, like this video. They say, see the video, you can see that grain supplied is substandard. So Tigray government should raise this issue with relevant authorities. Watch this video showing a US aid bag of grain showing substandard grain. Seem to be wheat grain, I think. Thank you for watching.